All right. Next news. Enough ranting. We have
Sure.
Publishers Weekly did their. I think this is an annual survey of professionals in the publishing industry, and I looked over this report, and there was a couple of really interesting observations of the traditional publishing world that I didn't see in any of the headlines covering this. Although the first one actually everyone's buzzing about. So we'll talk about what everyone's buzzing about, and then we'll talk
Right.
about what no one's buzzing about. And that is 63% of publishers already use AI. This is almost exactly the percentage we were reporting just a couple weeks ago of indie authors already using AI. So this idea that there's like this holdout of authors, there is, but it is shrinking rapidly. And the publishers, many of them are already using AI as well. What they're using AI for, what they're admitting to in this self-reporting survey, market research is the number one thing,
Right.
followed closely by publicity and marketing, followed by forecasting, and then followed by copy editing and proofreading. So when you are traditionally published, your book may be still edited by an AI. And I will tell you, I just upgraded today, not a developmental editor, to run on one of the most expensive AI models that is possible to run. I've been running on a cheaper one, and one person complained that it wasn't smart enough, and so now I'm just biting the bullet. We'll talk more about token costs going up. But now, and so I was like, run it again. She's like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. So if you've been unhappy with not a developmental editor lately, run your book through it again. It just got way, way, way smarter, way more expensive for me. So don't run your book over and over again, please. um, now what I'm curious about is if these publishers are allowing authors to use AI. Because Jonathan, you've seen this where publishers will put in their contracts with authors that the author's not allowed to use AI while they don't have a similar restriction on themselves.
Right. So I won't talk about the publisher I'm with for Semper Die. I'll go larger, and what I saw at like IBPA in California when I was out there. Most of them say authors are not allowed to use AI. And the reason they say that is because they think authors are children and shouldn't be trusted with it. It's like you can't use it. Like, we know what we're doing when we do it, but when you do it, it's clearly out of hand. And I mean, I've worked with tons of authors, and I kind of mostly agree with that. But that's not how you develop a more professional author, is by coddling them or holding things back. You just say, no, this is unacceptable because you did this. Fix it.
This is actually the source of many of the traditional publishing handcuffs placed on authors.
Yeah.
Why do they not give you a sales dashboard? It's because they don't think you're mature enough to be able to make sense of the numbers without whining to them about what the numbers are, rather than taking responsibility yourself. And the thing is, the kind of authors who do take responsibility aren't really attracted to traditional publishing, because they're like, well, gosh, if I'm going to take responsibility, I should be able to also take the winnings, because traditional authors make a little money, because the traditional publishers they get almost all of the bites of the apple. So very little money trickles to the author at the end.
Like, I released Esprit de Corps a month ago, and I have no idea how well it's doing outside of the sales ranking and the number of reviews. And it's so frustrating to me because I'm a data guy. I'm like, give me all the data. I need to know what formats are moving. I need to know how many pages are being read in a certain period of time, depending on what promotion that I put out on what social media. Like, I have no granulation, and it's driving me crazy.
So another very interesting thing in this study on traditional publishers, it was the gender breakdown of people who work for traditional publishers. Specifically,
not surprising at all.
Traditional publishers have hired in the last 5 years. So over the last 5 years, only 11% of people hired by traditional publishers were men. And for some comparison, 10% of the people hired by traditional publishers were non-binary or other.
Yeah.
and so do traditional publishers discriminate against men, right? People in traditional publishing are like, why can't we get straight men to read our books? We can't get our books to be appealing to men at all. And it's like, how many, and Jonathan, I'll kick this question to you. How many of these 11% of men that they are hiring in traditional publishing, how many of them are straight? How many of them even know what a straight man wants to read?
So like, you have to broaden the cultural scope. So when you're trying to get in a target set, right? Well, who are they hiring? Well, what's their pool that they have to draw from? Well, they're in an urban environment, right? Most of the big five are in New York City. Or, we're looking in Seattle, or, there's major urban environments like that. Well, urban women tend to run publishing. Based on other studies that have been conducted, and you guys can see the results of that in societal trends, which have happened in the last few years. Urban urban women feel largely threatened by the traditional male. There's been a lot of complaint about toxic masculinity in the last 10 years, and that's going away now that women are actually being threatened by other kinds of males.
They say that, but in the fiction, the kinds of books that are selling like crazy,
they want to be
these
threatened.
dark fantasies and this romantasy are featuring
abusive, controlling, domineering, tyrannical
alpha
love
male
interests. Yeah, it's bizarre because they want the danger, right? They want to feel the thrill. Well, you also got the would you choose the bear trend, where it was most women were saying I would rather meet a bear in the woods than a man because the bear would be friendlier or less of a threat or something. I'm like, y'all need education on bears.
Well, it depends on the bear as well.
But it was supposed to be indicative of how dangerous men are, or how dangerous women are perceiving men to be. Well, that was largely educational. It came a lot through the education system, where men have, or young men, boys have been told, you need to tone it down. Here's your medication, sit down and shut up. You're being trained for compliance. You're not being trained for, allowing you to explore your creativity, which is largely destructive when you're a boy. Read Calvin and Hobbes, you got an idea of what a little boy thinks like. So what happened following that is men were trying to compete for the sexual attentions of urban females. And when you do that, you need to adapt to what it is they want. Is it flowers? Is it chocolates? Is it taking them out on a date? Is it working out? Is it what is it singing to them? That's Spanish, right? You go outside the window with a guitar and that's how you get them. Am I going to read poetry? So they're in sexual competition for females and trying to figure out how to approach them. Well, to urban females, it was become less threatening. So they started adopting more effeminate mannerisms, more effeminate, less masculine clothing, and that kind of stuff, so that women will trust them. And that's where you get a lot of this urban, man bun, metrosexual kind of approaches and stuff. So now you have a Venn diagram of people you can hire. And this Venn diagram largely intersects with the homosexual population. So now you're not hiring from a large pool of straight men to help you target your series or your book towards straight men, because the only ones you have to pull are these men. I'm trying not to put air quotes. I'm trying so hard. It's really hard for me. These men that can't give you the context you need to properly target your ordinance or your books.
The conversations we have when we got demonetized in the first 5 minutes.
So good.
But this number was shocking to me. I'm not saying that they discriminate against men, but only 1 in 10 new hires being a man. And even then, we don't know what their orientation is. Like, that is just shockingly low.
Yeah.
It's just a really low number. And one of the things that's happening is that indie publishing is where most men end up, because
you got more control.
When you have a publishing industry that's 90% women, and it's not actually 90% women, because this 11% men hiring, that's just in the last 5 years. So there are men who kind of stuck around.
I think they said it was 79% women overall.
Yeah. And what you have is kind of these old men who are still in executive roles that are actually making more on average, because they're kind of sticking around at the very tops of the organizations, kind of standing on the glass ceilings.
It was $97,000 on average for men in the industry, and $80,000 for women. In that, but again, that's due to the higher and more executive positions. Now, again, where you're going to pull your employees from, you're going to pull them from English graduates, women who have just realized that, hey, my degree is worthless.
Yeah.